Hello and welcome back. I know it's been a bit, so people haven't been watching my stream, so they won't care that I wasn't streaming last week. I'm going to turn down the music. Oh, there we go. There we go. Alright, so, I finished, live streaming, Our Life, Beginnings and Always. This is, I wouldn't say it's a sequel, but I guess you could call it the next in the series. Like how, Tamarack has different quartets for Tortal's books. Like, you have the quartet about Alana, and then the quartet about Bertolane or Dane, and then the quartet about Calidry or Cal. So this is kind of the same thing. This is a new quartet, but it's the same universe, or at least similar. I have not played this yet. I heard about it, and I was like, oh, yes, please. I am very happy that, sorry, I just blanked. Miranda and Terry got together and all of that, but part of me really wanted to romance Miranda, because she's such a sweetie pie. But I do like Terry. So it looks like you actually have a choice of two love interests, if what I've seen for the Twitter from GBPatch Games is any indication. This is just a demo. The game itself is not available yet, but you can play the demo for free, which is what I'm doing here. Yeah, so they're all going into this blind, basically. I assume this is a link to their Patreon, which I unfortunately cannot afford to support it. I honestly can't afford to support the one team I am subscribed to on Patreon, but it's just, they're so good. Right. So, I will include a link to the demo in the description on YouTube if you're watching this on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe if you want to see more. There's plenty more. There's a whole playlist of this first Our Life game available. And there are other playlists of the other games I have live streamed. Welcome to the Our Life Now and Forever intro demo. This is a 25k word preview that includes the first few scenes of the game's prologue. So, 25k. For National Novel Writing Month, which is in November, called Nano, you are challenged to write 50,000 words in a single month. So this is half that. Expansions and improvements to the game will come out as time goes on. For example, the finished version will have partial voice acting, since the initial demo doesn't have any voice lines. Good to know. But I assume the partial voice acting is similar to what we saw in the initial Our Life game. When the game is complete, the entire story will be playable from start to end for free. However, optional paid DLCs will be available to add in even more scenes, which is like with the other games. The very start is a brief tutorial that will be skippable in future playthroughs. It'll help you get acquainted with all the many ways your choices can impact how the game plays. At any time, you can press the press button on the left side of the screen to open the settings page and make the experience better suited for you. You can change the text size, font style, sound volume levels, turn the light animation elements on or off, and other general options. We already saw that when I was turning down the music. I couldn't hear myself talk. The story of Our Life Now and Forever spans 12 years, with the character you play beginning as a 10-year-old child and ending as a 22-year-old adult. So, slightly shorter time span than the first Our Life game. That when you were 8 and ended when you were 24. In between these points are 2 other stages of life, 14-year-old adolescence and 18-year-old young adulthood. These time periods are referred to as steps 1 through 4. Sounds familiar? This demo only contains scenes from childhood. You'll be able to determine almost everything about the playable character: name, appearance, personality, pronouns, skills, weaknesses, how they act, what they feel, and more. And all of those details can change as you grow up over the course of the game. However, they won't be forgotten. Who you are and who you were is remembered by the game and the characters you meet. Choices you picked in Step 1 can still be referred all the way in Step 4. It builds together. Like in when Cove was taking you to all those different states in, I think it was Step 3, he remembered what your favorite flower was. And one of your gifts was based on one of the items you put in your room to decorate it. The goal of our life is to let you truly live your own unique life in the quaint mountain town of Golden Grove. But there are also 2 main characters who will grow up alongside your own character, Tamarack Bauman and Keelan, not sure how to pronounce it. You have the option of being their friend, pursuing one romantically, deciding to simply be people you know, letting your connection change over time, and so on. So, big difference from Our Life Begins and Always, you will get to choose a potential romance, or, one or the other, or neither. The relationship is customizable and progresses at whatever rate you want it to, if you want it to. A couple things you don't do are date them both or break up with one after officially getting together. If you've had one become your romantic partner, that's permanent. Tamarack is a little girl when you meet her, and she always identifies as a woman. She, her are her pronouns. I'm not sure how to pronounce that name myself. You're told how to pronounce it. She begins the story as a little boy, he's him, that questions her gender as the years go by. She will ultimately come out as gender fluid, he, they. Our Life Now Forever doesn't include the option to romance a strictly male-identifying character, but we do have another game, Our Life Beginnings and Always, if that's your preference. I just live streamed that. I spent 4 months live streaming that. There will be other characters to interact with and befriend besides Tamarack and Chi, even though those 2 are the main focal points. How well you get along with other kids, your teachers, your mom, and so on is still in your control. With those basics mentioned, the tutorial will move on to a new screen now to explain another major gameplay element. The first thing you'll do in Our Life Now and Forever is design the appearance and basic details of your character. You'll be able to select your first name, last name, and add a nickname too. You can also give your MC their general size, choose their dominant hand, and so on. Oh, that's cool. My brother was actually born left-handed, but all his friends were right-handed, so he wanted to be right-handed like all his friends. But that's pretty cool that you get to choose if you're left or right-handed, or ambidextrous. The sex/gender of the MC is customizable as well, but that will be done on a different screen later. The main parts of this section are all the many ways you can add the appearance of your character. A simple dress-up doll icon is included to give an idea of what your playful character is like. You can change every aspect of the doll, from the shape of the head and eyes, to the hairstyle, to the coloring of each element, to what they wear. The customization can be extra unique by having the hair and or eyes be 2 different colors, tweaking the exact tone of the colors, flipping the direction of different elements, and more. Or you can stick to preset options if you're happy with them or want to get through the customization faster. What you choose will be referenced in the script, and the icon image you put together will appear in the text box when your character speaks, unless you turn that element off. That's nice, because I kind of forgot what my character looked like, because I didn't have any reference in the game. The only time I actually got to look at them was when I was customizing their appearance as they grew up. The game has a first-person perspective, so you don't see your MC standing alongside the non-playable characters in the normal character sprite style. This first round of design will set some important basics like eye color and skin tone that will never change for the rest of the story, but almost everything else can be altered eventually. You'll get the option to use the screen to customize your MC at the start of each step. You can change your first name, nickname, hairstyle, what they're wearing, etc. all over again if you want. Notice you just can't change the last name. And new decoration options such as facial piercings will become available once your character has gotten older. And that's everything for this initial screen, so we'll let you begin. More tutorial sections will pop up as you reach new gameplay features. Thank you so much for playing. We hope you have fun. Okay. Interesting. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? Dice. Roll the dice. Now, bear in mind, I might not keep this character when the full game comes out. You'll see. But, you know, it's just fun to let the dice pick. If I can get the dice out. Here we go. Let's just dump them all out. There we go. Okay. So I have a D6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4. So we're going to pick this face suit, which I probably wouldn't if it was me just picking your own preference, but we're letting the dice pick. Okay, eyes. Oh boy. Interesting. You know, this is probably the closest to my actual eye shape. That's really interesting. Where's my 10? There it is. So we're going to roll a d10. If I roll a 0, which is the 10, I'm going to roll again. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And of course, I did roll a 0, so we'll roll again here. 6. So that's the eye shape. Wait. Oh, skin color. Here we go. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. There we go. Okay. Eye color. I mean, for me, I would pick, I would go with blue because that's the color my eyes are. How many other? 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So, there's a 12. Okay, heterochromia. That's what it means by your eyes being 2 different colors. So I'm going to roll a d4, and 1 or 3 same color, 2 or 4 heterochromia. 4 heterochromia it is. All right. So for the left eye color, I already counted. There's 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And it's on the floor. 5. So, and now for the right, same thing. 4. Pink and purple eyes. This is going to be interesting. Okay, hair. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4. Short hair. Oh boy. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. I think for hair at this age, we're going to stick with 1 color. Okay, so that's 9 right there. 18, 20. Okay, so I'm going to roll a d20, and that'll decide what the front is going to look like. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Two. That's what the front's going to look like. And now for the back. So it's either we're not going to have anything at the back, or we're going to have this or this. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2. That kind of looks fun. Hair color. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. We're going to keep the hair at the same color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, I'm going to roll a d20. Because there's really no easy way to roll a 13. If I get 14 or above, I'm going to re-roll. Of course, I got an 18. And a 15. And an 18 again. 5. So, purple hair with pink and purple eyes. I'm liking this. I'm really digging it. Alright. And neck accessories. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. I think we can change the color. So, looks like it's 13 again. So, we're going to do the same thing as I did before. If I get 14 or above, I will roll a d20. 2. Okay, and accessories. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm going to roll a d12, and if I get a 12, I'm going to re-roll it. 3. And second person is the first. So it looks kind of funky, so we're actually not going to do a head accessory. I'm not big on those. Glasses. Okay. I'm going to roll a d6, and if I get a 6, then I'm going to roll again. 3. And let's see. That blends in with the hair a little too much. We'll stick with that, just because it's easier. Bandages. Ooh. Nah. For the neck accessories, let's change the color. Because it feels weird to have it that different. Okay, extras. Ooh, scars. I can't even see that scar. I mean, honestly, I grew up, growing up, I ended up with a couple scars. And maybe she's not, yes, it's going to be a she. Maybe she's not as accident prone as me. I can't even see that one. Ooh, we're you could have dark birthmarks. And then what? Maybe she has visual scope. Or whatever it is where you have your skin is two-tone and not because you tanned or something. We're gonna that one. There we go. Moles. I got moles. Other freckles. I love freckles. She's a kid. She's not gonna have acne yet. Okay, there we go. Okay. Name. Why am I? I'm not. Why am I calling this? You know what? Let's go with Madison. Okay. Last nickname. Let's look at ambidextrous. That's cool. Height. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One. Oh, yay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. Large. Hello from the tutorial again. Now you get to customize the intensity of your main character. Like the main character's appearance, you can make this aspect of your character as personalized as you want, or not make use of the more specific elements. Determine the gender of the MC was assigned at birth, what pronouns they use, if they use multiple pronouns, adding in your own custom pronouns, selecting which gender terms they're comfortable with, and such can be up to you. You can also change everything except your assigned gender at birth at the start of every new step. If you want to begin with one type of identity and then have your main character go through a transition once they're older, that's completely doable. I mean, we did that with Beginnings and Always. Feel free to select whatever feels most comfortable at this stage of the story. She, her, female. Oh, I went intersex in my off-stream playthrough. There we go. This is really cool. Now that you've got your own character ready, you'll be able to influence the appearance of your biological mother. This is great. Oh, I love this. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the mothers in Beginnings and Always, but I kind of wish I could have had her look more like me. So 3 hair textures and 4 skin tones. You can have her look as similar or as different from your main character as you like. Yeah, because honestly, I don't look much like my mom. I took after my dad very much growing up. And my mom once told my dad, if you ever wanted to know what you'd look like as a girl, then she'd point to me. Getting more hair, skin tone options will be added for her further in development. She chose to raise a child on her own. The artificial insemination to give birth to her character. The biological father never appears in the story. Interesting. That was one thing I didn't like in, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but in Mass Effect Andromeda, you can decide whether you take after your father in appearance, but you can't decide if you take after your mother. So it's like, I mean, you could pick the options that look most like her, and then just not look like your dad, but it's just, I don't know, I wish that I could have just put, I look like my mom. So if your character happens to look nothing like their mom, it can be assumed that they took after the offspring father instead. You also get to choose what term your character refers to her by. Currently, it must be a title in order to make sense in the script. If you enter in her person, the phrasing won't make sense. Later builds of the game may be suited for calling her by her name instead of a title. You'll also be able to change the title you use for her at the start of every new step. Her skin tone and hair texture will remain consistent for the rest of the game. Okay. You know what? Let's have her look like you. Maybe different hair texture. Mommy sounds good. I used mommy when I was a kid. Now I use mom. And I've got the last little bit of customization before the story begins. Your interface display style. First, there's this sticker. A sticker is just a cute image that appears in certain screen graphics, assisted choice menus, and most importantly, save files. You can easily track different places by using different stickers, and your sticker can change whenever you want by clicking the info button on the sidebar and going to the Your Details page. Info is right there. One example to use it would be if you have a playthrough you're enjoying, but in step 2 you're not sure if you want to romantically pursue Tamarack or Klee. You take the same file, change the sticker, and make another save. One version of the story and sticker could have you dating Tamarack, and the other sticker is a separate story with Klee. The demo has a limited selection of options, more will be added in the final version of the game. Finally, there's 2 different text box styles to choose from. Traditional visual novel arrangement with the box always along the bottom of the screen, or a more comic book style where speech bubbles are positioned next to the one talking and at the bottom of the screen when it's narration. You switch between them at any time on the preference screen. By default, both text box styles will have the icons for speaking. Those can be turned on or off through your preference settings as well. Thank you for reading the beginning tutorial. That was a lot. One more section will appear near the end of the demo to explain a special gameplay feature. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Apple. I'm used to visual novel, so we'll go with this one. Okay, here we go. Finally getting started after 30 minutes. Half an hour. Okay. So I think we're going to be, instead of going through summers, we're going through autumns now, or fall. It looks like fall here in Golden Grove. More than any place you've seen before. It could be in one of your old picture books to show little kids what autumn was supposed to be. Yeah, I live in Southern California. It's really hard to tell what season it is just by looking at the trees, because there's a lot of pine trees. Well, our house has a huge pine tree in the front yard. There weren't any green trees or bushes, but there weren't just bare branches yet. It was almost the same as normal, all that had changed were the colors: red, orange, yellow, brown. Even the blue of the sky had a bigger head seemed different than it did in summer. It wasn't as bright either, as though it had gotten tired of sparkling by this late in the year, or like it was even farther away from you now that you were in this place. Glad this guy didn't get this way where you used to live. Oh, so we're the ones who've moved this time. Your thoughts continued to jump around while you stood there in the big circle of street at the end of the road. It's a weird path here. It couldn't take you ahead or to the sides or anywhere else like most streets you've gone down. This one only came right here with those big houses. The view in front of you was something you'd only ever seen in photos before, from stapled together papers that advertised in little houses being for sale. It had been a picture book to you until this day. Now you knew what it felt like fall here too, because it was cold outside. Chilly enough that you sometimes held your eyes closed for a few seconds longer than usual to try to keep your eyeballs feel like they're going to freeze inside your head. Such a little kid thing to do. This was a real place. The icy air surrounding you said you were really in it, and it was where you were going to stay. That was new. Your mommy and you had lived in apartments before, and never for very long each time. That was until she'd gotten a big job in this not that big town and bought a big house. You wouldn't be going anywhere else for a long time. Now in that moment, you couldn't imagine being there forever. My family, we've never lived in apartments. We've always lived in houses. We've lived in this one house for long. But I guess it was such a hassle when we moved in that my parents were like, we're not moving again. Let's just into an apartment after the kids are gone. But that's just the way it was. The old sand house at the very end of the long round road was now your house, standing tall with two others by its side. Those buildings were homes too, with their own people living inside, and those people in those ancient houses were going to be your neighbors. They're probably not as ancient as you think. Okay, you felt kind of mixed up inside, super excited about everything happening. You were mad. That was how much you felt about that. It all made you so sad. You felt scared. This would really be something, you thought. Okay. Rolling the dice here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2. So kind of mixed up inside. That sounds about right. Could it be better this way, worse, something else? You didn't know what to think. We're going to have a good relationship with our mommy. At least your mommy was still with you. You go through the bad stuff together. Madison, come on over and take a look. Oh, that was your mommy's voice. You hadn't noticed you'd gotten so far. That was enough to bring you comfort, and you made yourself move forward towards the unknown in order to reunite with her. Off the cul-de-sac road and cutting across lines of grass and sidewalk, you reached the picket fence your mommy had called from. The gate was unlocked. Unlike the other houses in front of yours, was a tiny gray stone walkway led up to a couple little steps, and those steps went to the door. Drag your feet along the rocks and dirt. The small private path was more uneven than you thought, and the tip of your shoe got caught on a raised edge between ground and stone, causing you to stumble up the line right before arriving at the end of the rocks. Steadied yourself before carefully going up the tiny stairs. That's exactly how I got my 2 scars. One in my eyebrow and one on the top of my head. I tripped. And there your mommy was, standing at the edge of the porch, arms folded and waiting. She must have been moving around before, because the shiny opal earrings she had on were twisting from side to side a little bit. You knew they were real opal stones because she told you before when she first got them. She also told you a long time ago that her normal name, not Mommy, was Opal. Oh, that's actually my birthstone. It's Opal. And my mom has an opal ring. Opals are really soft, so she's had to replace the stone a few times. The clothes were the colors of a cloudy day after rain had already come and gone. The kind of day that could be cold and bad or really relaxing and comfy. It depended. I wondered which way she looked at it from. You didn't know. As of her, though, was so much more bold, especially matching purpley cranberryness of both her hair and her eyes. There weren't a lot of things out in the world with that color that could feel gloomy. Everybody would always say that the purple in your hair and eyes came from her. That seemed cool. Part of your mommy ended up in you. Mommy smiled at you. It made you feel as soft and warm on the inside as your mommy was on the outside. What do you think? It's a pretty place, huh? Oh, geez. I see more strength. I've seen better places. It's beautiful. I'm going to have my own room, right? It stinks. It stinks. You can either be blunt or jokey. It's okay, I guess. Stared her blankly, not eagerly. You shook your head furiously. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9. Nodded eagerly. Her mouth stayed in the shape of a smile, but her eyes and eyebrows changed, bending in a way that made it seem like she wasn't really smiling. This is some other kind of smile. She put a hand on one of the white-painted pole pins that kept the poor tree from falling down. Her fingers moved down it. It won't be too much longer. The real estate agent should be here to hand over the keys in a couple of hours or so. Then it'll be official. We'll be the newest residents of Golden Cove. Cove Road. My brain is still on Cove for some reason. Shifted your weight from one foot to the other. This was a big deal to your mommy. Her whole life was changing, too. You hoped it wouldn't be a mistake. You didn't want your mommy to be sad. Well, you've seen the yard and the outside. You don't want to wait here the entire time. How about you go around and look around the rest of the neighborhood? There we go. I can talk. Really. She bent down, placing her hands on her knees in order to speak directly to you on the same level. It's a safe town, especially in this area. You'll be able to play freely out here. Perked right up. Mommy went back to her normal way of standing, with her head up high and arms folded. That's the spirit. Yeah, perked right up. I keep forgetting. I need to read it. Enjoy yourself. Just don't stray into any other streets today. Yes, Mommy, that's not fair. I won't. Promise. You didn't care about rules, but you kept that to yourself. You gave a thumbs up. You grumbled about the restriction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. Thumbs up. Thank you. I trust you. Aw. With that, you flipped around, bounded down the steps, and went back on towards the sidewalk, ready to explore. Step 1. Prologue. Okay, I'm assuming these two houses are your two neighbors. Your shoes really squished into the dirt part when you crossed from where you were down to the solid road. The smell of grass and rain softened ground, crisp, but somehow also kind of musty, hung in the air, bringing a whole new year of school with it. You were going to be a 5th grader. It would be completely different from being just a 4th grader, and not just because you'd be attending a new school. You'd be in the highest grade of the place. Yep, that's the way it was when I was in elementary school. My understanding is that because we were one of the largest generations, I guess you could say. So they needed to cut down the amount of kids in elementary. Because when my parents went to school, it was 1st through 6th. Well, kindergarten through 6th at elementary schools. Anyway, maybe that was why your mommy was so sure you could do this by yourself. You were growing up. It felt good knowing there was more and more out there that you'd be able to explore on your own. Then, before you took one more step, there was a faint tap against your shoulder. It was barely stronger than the wind, but it was definitely something. It was completely out of nowhere. It was a ghost. Huh, you wondered what that was. Jumped straight in the air out of shock. Both your fists went up defensively. You screamed. You rubbed your shoulder, feeling annoyed at whatever it was. It's a ghost, you deduced. Let's go with the first one. Huh, you wondered what that was. It's kind of weird. You slowly glanced down to the right and to the left, trying to get any idea where the poke could have come from. No one was there. The neighborhood was empty, except for you. You would have settled on it being a mystery forever if you hadn't noticed there was a thing left behind from the encounter. Soon there, in between the mighty brown blades of grass, was something new. A paper airplane. Paper airplane? Who would throw this at a stranger, and why would they disappear after doing it? As you considered this question, your gaze shifted back towards the right, side of the street where the tap came from. Whoever sent this to you had to have gone that way. Crouched down to grab it, wanting to get some kind of answer to what had happened. The paper didn't feel the same crinkly, crackly way most normal paper did. It was thicker somehow, almost like a piece of cloth. It was cottony. This wasn't the only part that stood out. The page was a tan color with dark brown lines. Not white and blue or white and black or something regular. More questions add to the confusion. Where would paper like that have come from? You turned the paper airplane around in your hands and squinted your eyes keenly. There were pencil markings on the underside. The paper had scribbles, or maybe even words on it. That was enough of a sign to undo the shape someone had put together. You pulled up the flaps of the paper plane, and it buttoned out between your palms as best you could. It was true, the paper airplane had a message on it. Well, maybe you thought. There were some words on it, but not a lot, and they were on different lines from each other. Read over each tiny part from top to bottom. Hello. Go out. Hide out. And then in the bottom corner was Madison Smith. Your name. It had been addressed to you personally. There was no mistake that you were the one meant to get the plane. Scrunch up your face. The person wrote stuff on a piece of paper, turned it into a paper airplane, threw it at another person, and the message they sent was that? This was a mystery worth solving. These are words for a code you had to break. You're going to get to the bottom of this. Someone or something had to have sent this to you. You weren't going to stop until you found out who and why. Past the parts where the light shone through the clouds and the parts where it got darker, you began your investigation, heading in the same direction the paper had hit you from. The house or row of houses was outside by the time the normal sidewalk ended. And it really ended. Instead of connecting to another street with homes or stores, there was the car road behind you and a bunch of trees and plain ground in front. Going down the road would have had to bring you to the rest of the town eventually, but you were sure that would be straying too far, like your mommy warned against. That was okay. You had other plans, options. Standing in between the dark trunks and bright leaves were two lines down south through the grass. They went in opposite directions. It was a crossroads. One led more towards where the neighborhood was, but further, right on the edge of where the forest started. The other went completely into the trees, a walking path for the people who lived here. You stood there at the start of this turning point in the woods, in your life, feet poised to move over the stirring thicket floor. But you didn't know where you were going. How could you know which one was better? You've never tried either, and there were no clues on where to start now. It was a puzzle that made you pause. You thought about it as hard as you could, even shutting your eyes to focus. Then finally, okay. Where is it? There it is. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? We're gonna save this here. Oh, cool. Return to game. Okay. So here we go. 1. Went down the walking path on the left, and your quest continued. Once you went through the foresty path, you had truly entered the wild woods. Nothing else surrounded you any longer. Nature spread across the land with a narrow dirt line and fence being the only sign anyone had walked in this spot before you. People were only visitors here. Golden and red leaves gently rustled against each other in thick clumps with each tree's branches flowing into the others nearby. Enough to keep the sky and sun out almost completely, but the leaves burned bright with the light basking over them from above. The front-made passage continued to twist around up higher into the mountainside, farther than you could see. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You're going to roll a d10. If I get 0, then I'm going to roll again. 4. You prefer the neighborhood over the woods. With patience growing over you like all the dumb moss on those trees, you forced yourself to push deeper into the thicket. The quiet bubble that existed here in the forest, away from the town, popped from a sudden, unnatural clatter. You froze. There was a whooshing thumpiness stirring up of the leaves, as something had crashed into them. You knew for sure that wasn't the wind. It had to have been an animal, or a person, and it came from right over there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5. Wandered through the you wandered through the bushes to find the source of the sound. Pulled up your socks and began to make your way off the path and through the overgrowth. It was hard to keep your footing on the slanted, untrimmed ground. When you reached a really tree-cluttered spot, you grasped at the branches and pushed them aside in order to open enough space for you to get past. Move them the same way you'd open up a set of curtains, but it's a lot harder to do. The tiniest branches couldn't take the bend and snap from the pressure. You could feel the splintery ends of the plant scratch a little at your face and clothes. It wasn't as smooth of an entrance as you'd hoped it would be. On the other side of the tree line was still the woods, but kind of an empty part. There was a lot of open ground with no trees or bushes growing and a ton of leaves that were gathered into piles. Past the clearing, the trees were back and even more closely pressed together than they were by the pack. It was mysterious. There was nowhere easy to go, and nothing seemed out of place to you until... Hello! There was a shout and a new whirlwind of leaves rushing through the air. From underneath one of the piles was a kid. That's the prettiest person you've ever seen. Stared at them and they looked right back at you as everything had thrown into the air gently drifted back down. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. That's the one I really wanted to pick. I thought I was going to catch someone, but you got me. That got the stranger giggling. Yeah, I got you. Wait here. The jumping jack kid hopped again, but this time it was to get up off the ground. They dashed to the opposite edge of the open space, leaves scattering behind them, dropping out of their clothes and being picked up by their steps. You were already wondering what was going to happen next. From behind one of the tall crooked trees, the kid began throwing sticks and other plant pieces around. They were uncovering a hidden treasure, a big brown bag. They had to use both hands to lift the pouch to get it over their head. The strap pulled tight under the strain of the weight attached to it. The line of their mouth looked just as strained. The stranger half spun and released the bag from their fingers, letting it rest completely across their shoulder. You heard stuff bumping around inside from your position way over here. It was a really full pack. They didn't slow that kid down. They ran back at full speed to meet you where you were. When they were in front of your face, they gave a wave and asked a question. Ooh, whoa, are your eyes two colors? Suddenly had a stranger leaning her face closer to yours to try getting a better look at your eyes. It's pretty cool, right? Whoever they were hummed a happy reply. Yeah, it's fancy. The kid then kept talking like that whole thing didn't even happen. Hi, are you a girl too? Yeah! She sung her own praises in a chiming tone. Both girls, both girls! And all of a sudden, the leafy girl seemed to remember to introduce herself the way most people do. I'm Tamarack. That sounds nice. Thanks. Tamarack is the kind of tree. I like it a lot. So what's your name? It's Madison Smith. Nice to meet you. Wow. Hi, Madison. Greeted you with a finger spread wave of her hand, as sweetly as if you'd always known each other, and she'd done it 100 times. I like her. You like it? Name? I like my nickname more. sometimes call me Maddie, except my mom. Or this one. Okay. I can't decide, so we're going to let the dice decide. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. My friends sometimes call me Maddie. Ooh, alright. Why are you here? Where did you come from? Are you visiting? She piled on one question after the other, letting them bubble out like her laughter. I'm not some kind of tourist. My mommy and me moved into this town. Tamarack gasped, her large eyes opening even wider. They were full of sparkles. Me too! I'm new too! I moved to live with my Omi and Opa. They have a house here, and I'm going to be there now. I'm assuming those mean grandparents? I've heard of that before. Omi and Opa is Grandpa and Grandma and Grandpa. Yep. I have no idea what it'd be like to not live with my mommy. It's normal. I've been here 5 days and it's really good. There's so much out here. I probably won't be finished for a long, long time. Months, maybe. Yeah, months is a long time. When you're a kid, that's true. This is my very first day in Golden Grove. Wow, that's really different at all. We're a match. She furrowed her extra short eyebrows as much as she could as a new idea came to her. Hey, we're both girls and new. We're the same age, too. I'm 10. You're 10? So am I. Hooray, the same age forever. Yeah. I'm a twin. There's always going to be one person with the same exact age as me. 1 minute difference. Happily, Tamarack held onto the one strap of her big bag, bounced up and down in place. Decided that this was the perfect time to talk to her about what you were doing. You know what this is? She asked by pulling out the page. She began to cheer louder the moment she caught sight of the unusually colored page. You got it! Yes, I got it. It's right here. Woo! She flung her arms up over her head in celebration, knocking her back out to the side. Made a thump noise when it swung back against her. My aim is good. He blinked at her in disbelief. You've done it. You found the missing person who made that strange paper airplane message. She was so cute, you thought. How did you know my name? You told me. No, before that. I didn't know it before that. What is that supposed to mean? I thought you knew what belief was a second ago, but hearing that made you feel it in ways you never had before. Some look on your face got Tamarack to add more. The paper I used wasn't mine. It was litter in the woods. I picked it up and put it in my bag because I couldn't leave it there on the ground. Then when I saw you standing in the road, I just had the idea. I could do something fun with that garbage by making a paper airplane for you. So you didn't write anything on it? Yeah, I didn't. Then who did write the note? I don't know. That's all she said. Tamarack couldn't tell you anything more. The person who wrote that strange message for you was still a mystery. You haven't found them even after meeting the paper airplane person. More determined than ever to figure things out. There was no way you could let this go until you got an answer. So I was thinking more and more about this, making plans in your head. Tamarack could tell something was going on with you. Madison, what did the paper say? Was it funny? Do you think random stuff is funny? It was short, and all the parts were on different lines. There were words, hello, go out, hide out, Madison Smith. What? So weird. Who would write that? I know, that's what I was thinking. It's strange. She took a big hop closer to you, a smile growing across her face as she landed. You should keep going, and I'll come too. That paper isn't very old. It would have gotten wet or eaten by bugs if it was out there in the forest for a while. I could track them down and ask them what they were doing. You can come. I was going to ask that. Woohoo! Tamarack snatched up a nearby stick off the ground and directed pointing it forward the way it had come from. We're going to find a letterer who puts weird things on paper. And so you started to walk along the brown fall brush again. Now with your new partner in the adventure, Tamarack came along from behind you with eager skipping steps. Excuse me. Just right. You were going to find that note writer person who knew your name. Soon you reached the head of the path. You were at the crossroad once more. You brought back knowledge and this new girl with you. All right, we did that one. That's where you were, and down there is just a car road. You stood at Tamarack's side, gesturing around animatedly with both hands. You didn't know if that helped her understand better, but you couldn't keep still. But there's that way over on the other side. You bent your knee, stretched out both arms, and pointed across the Prologue passage to where the second dirt imprint was. Tamarack couldn't possibly miss it with your direction. Her lips shut into a tight line. She nodded rapidly and with seriousness. Only for a second, then she was perky again. She was having fun and only pretending like she wasn't always so silly. I adore her. Yeah, okay, down the tree path for you and me. The decision easily made. You and your and her crunching footsteps started up again in unison, and so your course continued. The path ended up being kind of a trick. You ran out of dirt to walk on. After only a minute or two, it became plain grass everywhere. Luckily, you only had to keep following the curved bend of brush and tree trunks that separated the forest from not the forest to know that you were going where you had planned to go. Tamarack hummed a happy tune, not bothered by the change in the ground at all. You made eye contact as she started to speak words instead of music. It's a good idea. It's good that we're looking this way. Walking down the road that goes to town would have been a bad idea. Do your Omi and Opa have a roller gun set too? I don't know. Oh, then how come? Present what? Whatever she had to give must be something awful. Madison, you have no idea because you just got here. I've seen it. The town here is bad. Buildings were probably new when my Omi and Opa were 10. It's old and dusty. Nobody's going anywhere or doing anything. They just live in this place, sit around, and do that forever. You could never have fun there. She spoke gravely, giving the topic a moment of silence. After that, her spark came back, lighting up her features. But it's all okay, since it's right next to here. Tamarack hopped along, directing her stick to the tree line at your sides. Everything in the forest is growing or dying or changing no matter what. You look at one spot, you look at a different spot, you look back at the spot, and see something you didn't even notice before. She spread her arms across and up in front of her face playfully. It's magic. Oh. Then as you strolled even farther, something came into view. You almost didn't notice it at first. Something about as high as the trees and made out of practically the same color of wood was a tower sort of thing. The bottom of it was mostly empty space, with thin, thick poles at the corners and only one full wall. There's little fake rocks stuck to the boards of the wall side, probably for people to climb on. Above was an actual floor with a slanty roof and railings around. Some ropes dangled off it in multiple places. The thought continued that it had the same feeling as a tree house, but not even a tree. It definitely wasn't a real house. You might have found a local playground. A squealing whisper came right into your ear. Tamarack had noticed the wood thing too. Let's go see it. She pulled away from the side of your head to march towards the tower without waiting for you to even answer. Curiously, you moved closer until you were right in front, and that's when you came to the shocking realization that there's something in there at the top. Eyes squinting to try to see more clearly, and your neck bent back so far your head might fall off, could make out a lumpy pile. One, two, three, four, five. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5. Grab onto the part sticking out to try climbing up there. Reaching one hand higher and the other closer to anchor yourself, you grabbed hold of different fake rocks attached to the wall, then situated one of your feet onto the lowest climbing point. You have to strain your arms to pull. The foot on the rock then carried all your weight as you lifted the other into the air. It's tricky, but you got the second foot against a rock of its own that was higher up than the first. You made it fully off the ground. Hello, is somebody home? The sudden sound of clattering records from inside the fort made you flinch in place. It was a scrambling, thudding noise that you knew came from movement. That lump stopped being just a lump. It shot up, bent right over the railing, peered down, and saw you. It was another kid. One, two, three, four. Who were they? That's all you could wonder. Your hand started to shake as you held yourself up against the wall. You had to step back onto the grass. The person stayed put. The silent standoff of surprise played out between you and the stranger. Then all together, one half of their mouth, one of their eyebrows, and one of their hands shifted upwards. That lopsided pose they had, and the fact that they were at the top of the tower, made them seem pretty in charge here. Who are you? Why are you in my backyard? Oh, they were in charge here. I didn't know this was your backyard. I couldn't tell. Sorry. The little bitch twisted his smile and leaned over the railing even more than before. Yeah, there's no fence, but there is a house right over there, and if you look again, you didn't even see it's the back of the house. And so this is the backyard. My backyard, because I live in that house. You knew what a house was and what a backyard was. The kid was making a joke of you. Okay, you're pretty clever. Compliment went straight into the smug smile, brightening it even more. Thank you for saying so. After doing her own snooping, Tamarack skipped out from under the tower to join you in the stranger's eye line. She didn't miss a beat, waving and introducing herself to the new person. Hiya, I'm Tamarack. Hey. At that, they pressed the palms of their hands hard against the railing, then used it to kick their legs up over the sides and threw themselves right off the floor. Whoa! There was a powerful crunch and gust of air when the person hit the ground, just rolled to the side of where you were. They landed on their feet, crouching into a ball, and making the hood of their jacket flip over their head from the impact from falling so far down. The person stayed like that for long enough that the leaves they stood up fell quietly onto the grass again. Then the kids straightened themselves out with more poise than you could have expected. Spread shoulders, chin up, and with one hand they pushed the hood down over their back again. They were confident and knew how to show it. That's that. That was so cool. Yeah, it was. They took hold of the open sides of their jacket and flapped them out, shaking out bits of sticks and whatever other stuff they got on it when they collided with the dirt. Anyway, they shifted their head around to get their hair back over their shoulders where it was before, then jabbed a finger to their own chest. I'm Mr. Lin, and it means both of Creed's arms spread out openly, gesturing to the wide world all around. Autumn, nice to meet you. What are your whole names? Blue Chuckles Tamarack put on a fake voice that's deeper than a normal one and probably meant to sound mature. I'm Miss Tamarack Farmman. Tamarack is a tree. That introduction got a thumbs up from Cleve. Cool, Miss Tamarack Farmman. Okay, I'm going to look that up because it's bugging me that I don't know how it's pronounced. Okay, it's pronounced T. Alright, T. T. Shouldn't the U come after the Q? It's Chinese. It doesn't have to follow those rules. And you know, I don't have to follow other people's rules either. Really? He snickered at your reaction. I'm just joking. I listen to the rules when they make sense. Literally using his hand to wave off what he said, he kept talking. But that's still my name. What's your whole name? I want to know. I'm Madison Smith. Mix and Miss said the same thing that you just did, but while it made sense to you, Key was confused. It was like you had been talking backwards to him. How did your doctor figure that out? Did they have extra degrees? I figured it out myself. Really? You did that? You thought what the doctors and adults said wasn't right and told everybody? Yeah, I did. After first gasping, a grin spread out across his whole face. You've got stuff figured out, and you're just a kid like I am. Maybe it'll be different later. It could change? Yeah, maybe. I'm impressed by your wisdom, Miss Madison Smith. Oh, but I've got a nickname that my friends sometimes call me, Maddie. Cool, I've got a nickname too. It's Autumn, because, like I said, that's what my name means. You can use it if you want to. Alright. Wait, and also, how old are you two? We seem pretty similar to me. Me and her are the same. 10. He slapped his fingerless gloved hands against the front of his chest and showed just how taken aback he was. Whoa, so am I. Nobody else close by was exactly 10 before, and now there's 2 more. Wow, we came at just the right time. You did. And you two are going to grow up someday, and I'm going to grow up too, but that's never going to stop us from being the same age. Cool. Big thumbs up. More 10-year-olds are better than less. But the talk you were having ended with a clear clap from Key. To bring it to a close. Hang on. Okay. Back in. Now that we're people who know each other, I still want to hear what you were doing. I've lived my whole life in this town, in this neighborhood, in that house, and I've never seen either of you anywhere. There's got to be something going on. Tamarack's wide, no engagement. Yours. You understood what you had to do. Well, you reached right into your pocket and presented the mystery paper to Key, wanting your own explanation. But before you even said anything about it, Key wheezed with a tight grimace. He looked as stiff as the wood tower behind him, just like that. He stammered and babbled and pointed his finger all around his face. I sort of in front of you, and the word finally came to him. A sorcerer. What? No, wait. He threw his hands up higher towards his shoulders, a slight movement, making sure nothing interrupted his train of thought. You're a thief. That's why you were here. You're here to rob my house. Why would I let you know I was here if I was going to steal things? Oh, that's easy. It was a check. I had to make sure nobody was home before you broke in. I've ruined your plans and figured you out. You really think I'm a robber? He got all fluttery with his laugh and the waving of his fingers. No, you're just a kid, but you've got some good tricks. He tucked one of his hands inside his jacket. He moved it around in there, the whole time. There's some kind of secret pocket or compartment in that coat. Just as he thought, when he removed his hand, he was grabbing onto something. It was a little notebook. The edges were bent up and crumbly, probably from being squished a lot of ways and a lot of times. And there were papers sticking out of it in weird ways that made you think they weren't even attached to the book anywhere. They were just snapped between other pages to keep them in place. But the thing you noticed the most were the colors, tan with dark brown lines. Tamarack squealed, bending closer to you. She and you had the same idea at the very same time. It was the paper from the airplane. He flipped open the book, tapped in a slow, concerning rhythm at the front page with the back of his knuckles, and said what you wanted to know without you having to do anything. That's my special paper with my notes on it, but it's not in my notebook. It was in your pocket. You must have done the thing that's sleight of hand. Sleight of hand. That's what you do. Snatched myself in the blink of an eye while I was standing right here. So you're a magician or a pickpocket. That's all it could be. He shifted on his feet, putting one hand to his hip and using the other to make a waggling gesture with the notebook. He was really confident in his accusation against you. Can you show me how you do it? But the waving motion he did was too much for the old notebook. It bent in half upwards and downwards with the momentum of its owner's arm. Some of the papers slid out. They drifted to the ground the same way leaves fall from the trees. He stared right at them, sitting on the ground freely like that. He didn't. Maybe you just lost the paper and that's how Tamarack found it? Yep, you dropped it. Nah, I never lose things. He said absent-mindedly, still not paying attention to the papers scattered around his feet. They were pretty much just waiting to blow away in the wind at that point. I hope he never knows what happened. It'd be funny. He's fun with your reaction. Came out as a set of snickers. His cheeky mood drifted away once those were done. Tamarack twirled one corner of her scarf between her hands. She wanted to act like it was normal, with nothing happening, even though she was grinning like something was definitely happening. But she obviously wasn't going to tell Key either. Key twisted to the side to better rummage inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made sure that the notebook made it back to its normal spot. He tilted his face back towards you. He was quiet and thoughtful. This is very mysterious. My paper vanished, and 2 new kids appeared in my backyard, all out of nowhere. I don't get it. Key, I'm your neighbor now. I moved into the middle house on the street. Oh, the new neighbors. That's right. That's you. Makes so much sense. Except for her. His growing excitement burst into confusion. He brought a hand to his chin while also pointing squarely at Tamarack with the other one. I'm pretty positive there's only going to be 1 new kid moving in. Unless you're Madison's mom. Tamarack was completely tickled by the idea, giggling and covering her mouth with her hands. She didn't do a good job at stopping any of the laughter from getting out. No, I'm not a man. I moved in with my Omi and Opa. Omi and Opa? I've never heard of that. Is it another language? Uh-huh, it's German, and they're German. Cool. Of course, Bauman is a German name. Thanks, but they already had a house here. It's the gray one. Whoa. There's a granny who lives there and a guy that's her husband. That's your Omi and Opa? I think so, probably. Omi has really long hair. Opa has short hair. Some of it is on his face. Omi and Opa means granny and grandpa. Yeah. He bobbed his head up and down with great understanding. Granny and him have a kid now? Huh. Wow. He leaned his weight from one foot over to the other. The side of his red sneaker bumped against some of the papers. It made him freeze. Then Key's eyes widened. He lifted the notebook over his head and twisted his feet outwards more to fully clear his view of the grass below. Finally, he spotted the missing pages. He stopped talking and dropped to his knees to scoop up the loose papers. It only took a second for each one to be gathered. He leaned off his knees onto his butt and made a little oomph sound. And there he got his feet against the ground while pushing up with his hands, still clutching the papers so he could stand again. With that successful rescue mission done, he delicately slipped through the notebook containing loose papers along the way between different pages. He went all the way to the end. Then Key's complete book was pressed shut once more. After that, Key twisted to the side to better rummage inside the hidden pocket of his jacket. He made super sure that the entire sack of papers made it back safely this time. He heard a sigh of relief. In an even swooping move, Key tilted his head back over his shoulder to reveal his face again. The shocked expression from before was completely gone. He had that smirk again. So, did you see that? I don't lose anything. Darn, it had been so close he had thought that, but he must have accidentally made a face or something too, since Key had to talk about it. Did you think I wasn't gonna see it? Wait. Smiling, Key leaned a lot more forward, all the way onto his tippy toes. He stayed up and put his hands against his chest like it was nothing. He didn't know how he stood on them so well. Did you hope I wasn't gonna see it? Or maybe he read your mind. He shrugged, not really feeling sorry about it. He gave one triumphantly loud laugh, letting the rest of his feet lie firmly against the ground again. Sorry for you. I only disappoint when someone wants it to be bad. He got you with the double-finger guns. Put that down in your own notebook. He broke into laughter. That was not at all how you'd expected him to reply, but it was amazing. He just flashed forward to hold his stomach because it was that funny. Then Key shook his head side to side, flopping dark brown strands of hair around and trying to sort out his thoughts. But if you're just new neighbors, not thieves or sorcerers, how did you know that was my paper? I didn't know, not for sure. What, you were showing my notes off to everyone you saw in the world? Yeah, that was kind of the idea. Huh? You knew it would be a long story, so you took in a huge breath. Tamarack put her fists up eagerly in her own preparation to talk about what she had done. I got here today with my mom. She's waiting for a real estate agent, so I had to go spend time doing something. I went down to the road, and a paper airplane hit me in the shoulder, and nobody was there. That was me. I threw it and ran away. It was great. I picked it up and opened the plane and saw stuff written on it. I thought the person throwing the plane was trying to give me a message. But that wasn't me who wrote it. Right. The master went to the forest after, and I surprised her by jumping out of the leech. He nodded along, probably not getting everything you two were talking about, but curious enough to just keep listening. And then I talked to her about the paper airplane I found, and she told me what we said. That she made the plane, but didn't write what was on it. I asked where she got it. Tamarack chimed in again as your story continued to bounce back and forth between the two of you. I found it on the ground, in the woods. It's already had the note, but I didn't think that was important at first. Madison made me wonder about it. We went out to discover the word writer, and it was you. Huh. He put his hands on his hips and thought hard about the info he'd learned from you. You're saying all this was random stuff for fun? I guess so, but if you're the one who wrote that, how did you know my name? That was on the note. And what were those other words supposed to mean? Hello, go out, hide out, Madison Smith. It doesn't make sense. Oh! He cracked a smile and poked out his arms to start his own explanation. That's just stuff I was going to do. Counting 1, 2, 3 on his fingers, Key listed off each part of the letter simply. Hello, say hi as you go around, go out to the town or another neighborhood or whatever. Hide out means go to my hideout. He stopped the countdown to pat the sturdy wooden wall behind him with pride. Right here. Your hideout is in your own backyard? Where else would it be? Anywhere but there? Nah, I live here. Right. Yeah, for your name being there, my mom and dad told me. They talked about how people were moving in next door and how there was going to be a kid my age and that their name was Madison Smith. It was cool to me, so I wrote it down. That way I wouldn't forget. And I even took out and read that page a lot to make sure it'd be something I remembered. Looks like I forgot after all. Thanks for trying to remember anyway. You're welcome. I remember this time, definitely. That's pretty crazy with the paper airplane. It's really impressive you two put the whole thing together. He was right. You and Tamarack had now been able to discover the whole story. So what was that about never losing things, Key? Tamarack found her paper on the ground. With wrinkled brows, Key shifted his hands up to the side of his head so he could decide to get the front strands of his hair, pulling them out front fully straight. I don't know how it's possible. Are you too sure you're not sorcerers to thieves after all? Yes. Too bad. He's so adorable. He finished his pout, straightening up and putting his hands hardly on his hips. He was back to being in control. You know, there's nobody out there who's perfect, except by mistake, and sorry to you, Forrest, for messing up the place. I think it forgives you. Cool. That's really nice of you to say, Key. Thanks. But you realize suddenly how late it must have gotten. Your mommy was such worrisome. That wasn't good. Your turning thoughts were put on pause when Key suddenly changed the subject. Hey, Massa and Tamarack, I'll walk you around back to the front. I want to hang out more. I should probably see how Omi and Opa are. They're pretty old and need help sometimes. Yeah, we could all go back together. Yes, I was going to ask that. You relax your stance, accepting that this was really over now. Yay! For cheer extra pizzazz, because she still had that thick jib to point up high. To our houses! While chuckling, he used his fist to enthusiastically punch the air. Smashed up his pose. Homeward bound! And so he started to walk through the yellow fall grass to get to the neighborhood again, but you weren't going to be alone here. Cameron sounded a hand, bouncing her arm up and down with a stick like she was the conductor of a marching band, while Kay came alongside you with even casual steps. You were returning to that house. The new neighborhood had become even more orange-toned by the time you finally returned to it. The far-off sun slowly sunk away behind the tallest mountains of forest to sleep for the night. Shadows grew larger, pulling away from your bodies to reach out into the street ahead. The dark shapes morphed and combined with one another as you walked in your own mismatched rhythm. All the while, eyeball chillingness of the outside got more powerful bit by bit. Tamarack still stayed about 2 steps ahead. Sometimes she was closer, and sometimes she got away from you again. She used her stick to knock at the bushes and lamps along the sidewalk. He was next to you, but he switched things up so that he was taking large steps backwards. I guess it was to look at you in the face better. You just saw it then. You pointed out the sharpest building on the street as you went. Part of it looked almost like a tower, a different kind than the one in the backyard. See, that's the house from the front. It's great. And that's your house, right? The one in the middle? And Granny owns that even further away one. Cool. The sounds of your steps continued to echo through the cul-de-sac as you came to stop right in the center of the path. You'd arrived. Karen put both her hands up in front of her chest and waved them around. I'm going home. Cameron spun in place before dashing further along the sidewalk to the sloped gray house on the other end of the neighborhood. The bag clunked and jingled at her side the whole way there. Bye. Okay, this is it. Oh, wait. Bye. Okay, this is it. He pulled out an eager grin. We've got to meet up again later. See you. He flipped around to go back the same way he had come with you. He needed to return to the pointy red house with the huge backyard. Okay, so this is your house, this is Tamarack, and this is Keys. Got it. You didn't drop any papers this time. You waited there in front of the house in the dim evening light, watching the 2 other kids go to their homes right down the same street. It was cool to meet you two. That was everything. The whole outing was done. The quiet resolution of your first day in this place, the 2 encounters you had earlier that afternoon drifted through your head. Tamarack and Key. Okay. You're at the stage where you get to set your dynamic with Tamarack and with Key. There is a tutorial for that whole feature, but because this mini demo is near the end and doesn't utilize dynamics, we're including the option to skip past all the extra info for now. Would you like to hear about dynamics for future reference, or go directly to the dynamic screen to quickly continue past it? Let's see how it works. Our life now and forever has a specific way of constructing personalized relationships you have with the two neighbors you grew up with. It's called dynamics. This encompasses how your character and their character feel about one another and how they generally interact with each other. Okay, I'll be right back. I need to do something. Okay, I'm back. Okay, this encompasses how your character and that character feel about one another and how they generally interact with each other. This will determine if your character is shy or confident or sociable or unsociable, just done through the phrasing, actions you pick, and normal choices. This is only setting how you and the two leads tend to think/approach things on a top-line level. These things can be the same for both Tamarack and Key, or be entirely different for one over the other. The first part of the dynamic system is what you set for your relationship standing. The chosen relationship standing starts mutual with the other character. It's possible to change the standing at the start of each step, and even at certain points within a step, at least normally. There are some things that can't be changed once you pick them. 5 main options for your relationship standing are neighbors, friends, family, crushes, and beloveds. Neighbors means there's someone you know, and it's nothing more meaningful than that. Whether it's still amicable or completely cold or even hostile is up to you. Friends means that you're friends. While on this standing, it's possible to go even deeper and have them be your very best friend, but that's outside on the dynamic screen. Family means that you truly love them and will always keep them in your life in a fully platonic way. You can't choose to love someone this deeply until later steps once you've known them longer. You also won't be able to change the setting to anything else once you've picked it. It's completely certain and unwavering. You can bring both Tamarack and Key into your proverbial family. Crushes means that you and them have crushes on each other. While understanding, you can keep your feelings a secret and act as though you're only friends/best friends, or it can be known that you're romantically interested. Later in the game, you can also officially go steady with Tamarack or Key. If you begin dating one of them, your setting on the dynamic screen will change to partners instead of crushes. It's possible to be crushed on Tamarack and Key at the same time, but you can only get into an actual romantic relationship with one. Hooey. What about polyamorous, man? If you have been crushing on both and get into a relationship, you'll automatically go to being friends with the character you're not dating. You won't be able to keep expressing romantic interest in them. And if you do date one, you can't break up with them. The partner status can't go away once you get it. It is possible to change simply crushes to one of the other options if you want to. Beloveds means that you truly love them and will always keep them in your life in a truly romantic way. You can't choose to love someone this deeply until later steps once you've known them longer. Love won't feel a change to say to anything else once you've picked it. It's completely certain and unwavering. Like crushes, the romantic feelings can be known, a secret, or you can be official partners. Throughout this setting, you'll also unlock the possibility of getting engaged and changing your relationship standing to fiancés. There's no requirement to commit or get married or even date, however. What you do with your feelings of love is up to you. You can only choose beloveds for one of them. Tamarack and Key each have their own romantic scenes that aren't set together. At least that's the current situation. If time/budget allows, we might be able to add a new set of alterations for being in love with dating both of them. Yes, we! It's not a guarantee that we can do it, but that is something we have in mind. That's part one of dynamics. The second part is expression elements. This is how you and the other character generally interact with each other. Like relationship setting, expression elements are determined separately for Tamarack and for Key. It doesn't have to be the same for both. But expression elements don't have to be mutual between your character and Tamarack or Key. They have their own ways of conveying themselves, and your character gets to have theirs. Expression elements are broken down further into 3 meters, with 3 choices per meter. Meter 1 is deferring, teamworking, contesting, praising, unassuming, teasing, doting, accepting, idolizing. For meter 1, you can use it to determine if your character is a follower or goes with the flow using deferring, collaborator or compromiser using teamworking, or tries to be the leader or decision maker whether the other person actually wants to follow them or not, using contesting. For meter 2, it determines if your main character is the type of person to go out of their way to make comments on the other person and what they do. If not, they're unassuming. If so, the comments can be complimentary or even flirty if praising, or they can be joking or giving the other person a hard time if teasing. Meter 3 can be set to determine how your character views Tamarack and Key. Do they feel like they need to look out for them, or that they're on the same level as each other, or that the other person is more incredible than most? When you first meet Key and Tamarack in the story, they go with their normal kind of behavior for their interactions with your character. Because of that, their expression elements are always the same as Step 1. When you first meet... There we go. Step 1, Key, teamworking, teasing, and doting. Step 2, Tamarack, contesting, praising, accepting. As you spend more time with Tamarack and Key, you'll get to know your character better, and in each of the steps, the expression elements can change to match that. If, for example, your friend with Tamarack can express displeasure whenever she insists on getting her way, she'll notice that. In Step 2, it says contesting, she could be teamworking with your character, or even deferring depending on the details. The connection with your character will develop organically. The future steps will also have the option of customizing their expression elements as well to make sure your character has a specific feel. And starting in Step 2, and if you're more than just neighbors, a 4th expression element meter unlocks. Meter 4, jealous of, not jealous, jealous over. Jealous of means that one character is envious of the life, appearance, abilities, relationships, or something else of the other person, depending on the specifics involved. Jealous over means they feel discovered as they think the other person seems to like someone else more, or isn't spending as much time with them as normal, and such. The jealousy meter does nothing but let you add more negative feelings, relationship, competition, interactions as an extra element of drama to your life. By default, Key, Tamarack, and you will always be not jealous, which just skips all that. You'll have to choose to customize the expression elements, except to being jealous in one way or the other for that kind of emotion to crop up. With relationships ending and expression elements, you'll be able to have a truly personal dynamic with Tamarack and with Key. There are dozens of combos for the steps you're in, and when going from step to step. The unit crushes in Step 3 will be different if you used to be friends than if you were crushing from the start, and so on. You will have plenty of options to try out. That ends the Dynamic Systems tutorial. We hope you'll enjoy the connection you create with Tamarack and Key. Let's go with friends. Teamworking, teasing, accepting. Friends, teamworking, teasing, accepting. Things were so different for you from just that morning when you left and went on the drive to move. Before then, you'd never been in Golden Grove. You'd only seen it He'd seen it only in pictures and hadn't known anybody who was local there. But here you were, a person who lived in the town and was friends with the neighbors on both sides of your house who also lived here. Were you friends? You thought so. Madison, is that you? Your mommy called from over the fence. Coming! He bounded forward and passed through the gate. Mommy had left the porch and was there to meet you. Thank you for coming back. I'm sure you were having an exciting time out there. I met people, Mommy, kids my age. I'm so glad. I look forward to hearing all about it. From strength to strength, we've got the key to the house. The agent found in rugs about 20 minutes ago. They're gone now, but I haven't peeked yet. Both of us should be here for this. It's your house, too. I guess. I know. It is yours and ours. Come on. Mommy turned to go and slipped the key out from her sweater pocket. She gestured with the other hand for you to follow. Mommy led the way as you went back up the stairs. The key fit perfectly to the hole on the door, and Mommy smiled at the sound of an unlocking click. Carefully, she leaned forward with her shoulder, giving it an edge, unsure if the best option for the ancient door was extra force or extra restraint. The house opened with a creak. Air came out through the front like it was exhaling. Mommy let out a breath at the same time. Over here, Madison. There's space for you to get a little closer. You can see inside here. He was scooched towards your Mommy's side in the doorframe. It was then that you noticed there was a mat at the front. It had a lighter color and a kind of hard but fluffy texture. The sort of mat that get dirty looking right away when it was used, but it was still clean and nice. It hadn't been worn down at all like the rest of the building. This part of the house wasn't just an old thing left behind by other people who didn't need it or want it anymore. Someone must have put it there for this happening, for your Mommy and you moving in. Right across the top it said, "Welcome home." Yay! That's it! Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to playing this. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely crushing on Tamarack already. I wouldn't say crushing, but I definitely like her. She's very cute. And I can't wait to see how that develops as she grows up. I'll probably do what I did, like what I did with Cove, where the only thing I changed about him was his appearance. But I left his personality the way it was, the way it had been affected by, there it is, I dropped one of my dice, the way it had been affected by my choices. That was something that I noticed, with the two different playthroughs I've done with him, is, the one, on the live stream, I think he was more open and generous, and then the one with I did off stream, he was more reserved. But I suppose that's because I'm more reserved. But yeah, this I'm definitely looking forward to playing this when it's finally available. I know they've been working hard on it. I follow their Twitter, and they've been posting tidbits about it. I probably twice as many people as they're following me. I know they. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I know that they've been working on not just more DLC for beginnings and always, but also for now and forever. Yeah, they've retweeted a lot of fan art. Awesome. Oops, that's not where I went. That's where I went. Okay, so yeah, they're definitely working on both the DLC and this game. My favorite season is spring because everything is new and exciting after the long cold winter. But I really like the way they depicted autumn in this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you want to keep up with what I'm live streaming, I upload a new video almost every Saturday, depending on if I actually was able to stream. But if you want to be updated when I do upload a new video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And I have no idea what I'm going to do next. We'll find out. So yeah, take care, everyone.